I thought they were going to turn EC3 heel, but now they maybe aren't. It's weird.
So EC3 is face right now?
He is.
Huh.
But the way he's acting, he's on and off, so it kind of feels like he's being neutral.
Cheating, big guy.
I turn the volume off this.
Is it good?
So good. Artichoke, sweet peppers.
I made cracked chicken.
So
last
right now
night.
I'm live on Periscope.
Oh, excellent.
Periscope, worldwide stuff.
James?
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, we can start.
Okay.
I gotta catch this Raticate.
Zach's in the mood.
I need some more water.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode. I'm your host, James, alongside always his name.
I'm Andy, and I'm catching a Raticate.
And we welcome you to join us on this journey as we all become legend of the nerds.
Update before you do this. Raticate caught.
Eradicate caught. It's good. Fantastic catch on that one.
Yes.
How many do you have? Like 5, 10?
I only have 2
50.
because I get rid of them. Like, right now, I'm transferring them. I had this whole big spiel with a teacher today. We're both obsessed with Pokemon Go. But we'll shut it down. We're a little busy today.
Trying to get serious?
Yes.
As you throw pens at me.
Exactly. I had a busy day, okay?
How was your day? Tell us all about it.
Oh, God. It was very hectic. I had the 4th grade today, which is, I think I've mentioned on here, is a very chaotic group.
4th graders are.
They like to ramble and be rambunctious. So,
Well, that sucks.
yes. There is one thing I'd like to say, though, too, I forgot to mention to you, so give you a heads up. A couple times we dedicate the episodes here to certain people. We've had a dedication to Jimmy Superfly Snuka. We've had one for Bill Paxton. But it's not going to be a famous person today I'd like to dedicate the show to.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this past Wednesday, we had a death in our family. Very good family friend of ours, Andre Vio. He unfortunately passed away unexpectedly on Wednesday. So I'd like to dedicate this show to him and his family. So,
Fantastic.
yes.
I guess.
You don't know him. He's my family friend. So, but yes, I had to say that.
That's why we're here.
Something for them.
That's why we're here, man.
But how about you? It's been a while. 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
Life does not stop, Andy. It never stops.
Life doesn't stop with a wife and 4 children.
It does not stop with that, the job. Now I'm running 2 closing Radio Shacks.
So you're basically doing what happened with Blockbuster when they closed down all the stores. Because
Yes.
you were back and forth between St. Albans and I think Essex or something like that.
Yes. And now it's Shelburne and Essex.
Oh, sounds like fun.
Yeah. I've been very, very busy.
Hey, at least you're getting paid better than I am.
Eh,
For now.
For now.
Like I said, you can come sub with me.
I just might.
You can go sub it for your kids.
No.
You see them enough already?
Yeah. We like that break. That good break is what we need.
I saw too. The missus posted. Looked like your kids had a school dance, all dressed up.
Yeah, a little fancy dance for the younger kids.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said on there your youngest Tristan needs to dress up like that more often.
He does.
It looks snazzy in that suit and tie.
He can look sharp when he wants to.
He can pull it off.
He can.
So, yeah.
That's right.
But other than that, I mean, yeah. I've just been back and forth working because they're calling in every day, and with vacation coming up next week, spring break, it's just everything's all one giant cluster right now.
Didn't we just get done winter break?
At the end of February, yeah. And guess what? Then after, when it comes into May, what do they have? 6 weeks till summer vacation?
Yes.
So I got to get my
Your resume's up.
I got to get my butt in gear and find something else to do this summer.
That's right. Anyways,
Enough personal talk.
enough personal talk. We do have some stuff going on.
Yes.
Some exciting stuff. Got a couple trailers that came out. Going over that today.
Yep.
But wrestling huge stuff going on in the wrestling world right now, right?
Oh, massive.
What we got going on in the wrestling world?
Well, we all know, I think I mentioned last time on the show, Mick Foley got fired as a Raw GM. Mm-hmm. And the speculation was, who will be the next Raw general manager? And it was shown the night after WrestleMania, the new 2017 Hall of Famer Kurt Angle is the new general manager of Raw.
We all saw that coming, though.
I think most of us did. I love this because right now, remember during Mania, Stephanie went through a table? Mm-hmm. So she's going to be off the show for the next couple months because of her injuries.
Right.
So Kurt gets run of the show. What's that going to say when she comes back?
If she comes back.
I mean, with SmackDown, you got a face and a face for the GM and commissioner and Shane with Daniel Bryan. And then you get a heel and a face for general manager, commissioner of Raw. Does it mesh the right way?
I mean, Triple H is going to show up, is he?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But with that, my thought was, I like the fact he's GMing, but I really wanted to see the whole Kurt Angle mentoring American Alpha. And they're on SmackDown.
You've been wanting that for a while.
It just made sense, don't you think?
Maybe.
I mean, they were using the
Do they
angle.
need any mentoring, though?
Not really, but they ended up using the angle slam in a match, the ankle lock. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of set up for the push.
Kind of, but I don't think it would have done anything for the team.
No?
No.
Okay. Other news. What do we have? We have NXT. We don't talk about NXT that much. A returning superstar who used to be on WWE, went to TNA, revamped his entire career, is now in NXT. Have you heard who this is?
Excuse me.
They showed him in the audience at NXT TakeOver Orlando, which was their WrestleMania.
I don't remember this.
Drew McIntyre.
Oh, I remember seeing his face in the
And
videos, too.
I watched his match last week. There were little hiccups here and there, but it looked good. He, the gimmick, the body, everything. I mean, he's
Why
looking
leave
pretty
TNA after? I mean, it seemed like he was doing a good fit for him.
Oh,
there.
he's doing amazing in TNA.
Yeah, it's a
he
good fit for him there.
revamped his entire look and everything.
What killed his career was the Vince McMahon thing.
Yeah,
That killed it.
He was the next prodigy of
Yeah.
WWE, and then he was in 3MB with Heath Slater
Yep.
and Jinder. I think what happened was in TNA, they turned him heel, and that's where it started to spiral downhill. It wasn't the same because he debuted in TNA with this whole rise up. He's rising up against the heels and stuff like that, and the like Dixie Carter and stuff like that.
Right.
So he pulled off an amazing face, and then all of a sudden, heel. He got injured, came back maybe a month, and then out the door.
Like he was doing that Scottish accent, right?
Well, he is Scottish,
Yeah.
so
But sometimes they drop the accent sometimes to do other gimmicks and stuff. But
Well-
he kept the Scottish accent, right?
Yeah.
The whole time.
So my thing is, in the show in NXT, his promo, he said he's got the raw talent to be on Raw, and he can lay the smackdown on anybody in SmackDown, but he wanted to be here in NXT. I'm like, no, that's where they placed you.
That's where they placed him.
So-
Yeah.
I mean, if he had his choice, he'd be on one of the main brands, but it wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah. We had also the night after Mania. It's now the 2 nights after Mania
Okay.
because with the whole brand split.
Yep.
So on Raw and SmackDown Monday and Tuesday are now those special days where people debut or come back. And we had a couple. So we had returning, Finn Balor returned the night after Mania. Blew the roof off the place.
I bet.
It was great. They promoted NXT Tag Team Champions, the former NXT Tag Team Champions, the Revival. I don't know if you remember seeing them that much when I make you watch NXT. And then SmackDown, we had Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10 debut. He was actually in the Rumble and did a very good job. I
think I remember him.
Came in at 10 and lasted almost to the end. Mm-hmm. And then we had promoting from NXT Shinsuke Nakamura to SmackDown.
Okay.
This is how great, I have to say. So the last episode of NXT, they actually had Shinsuke come back to NXT, and they did this special farewell to him, and he got to do a farewell speech in the ring at the end of the show. They've never done that with any other NXT superstar. So there's
Nakamura, he's a big name in the wrestling business. He's not something that they found out of like
they
Mississippi,
didn't do it with Samoa Joe. He got promoted, and they didn't do it. Finn Balor, I mean...
Yeah, but Nakamura is huge in Japan.
I understand. I know the hype was with Nakamura, and
he deserves the entire hype.
it was a great farewell. You could see fans that were actually crying in the NXT arena because they don't get to go to all the different shows, but they go to... The NXT fans are very passionate, being the fact it's there in Full Sail University every week. The same fans go every week.
Yeah.
So they're getting emotional. They had the whole locker room come out. Shinsuke bows to like William Regal, and he bows back. Mm-hmm. And then Finn Balor returned to give him a hug, kind of, because they know each other.
Yeah, of course.
And they're on separate shows, so they'll never get to see each other. But it was a nice touch. He's in SmackDown now, and he comes out and interrupts, and I can't wait to watch this match. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, nice.
I cannot wait to see the Master of Strong Style against the one and only Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, that should be a good match.
That's going to be an amazing match.
That should be a good match.
Those are the returnees and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to talk about anything else before we get to the Superstar Shakeup that happened.
No, let's do the shakeup.
Okay, so if nobody knows what the Superstar Shakeup is, it is, we talked about it, we had our own thing last year based on the WWE draft. So we each had our draft. Go back, watch it on our YouTube page, all that. It was a great episode. So it's been about a year now, and after the draft, I thought everything was great. I love the whole brand split. Mm-hmm. But the problem is with the brand split, and you have a smaller group of people, is things start to get stale.
The same
You have the same roster, people going back and forth all the time. You got to shake it up. So the Superstar Shakeup was Vince McMahon announced was that some superstars were going to go from Raw to SmackDown and vice versa. And it wasn't just superstars; it was also announced team. So for the announced team, you had Byron Saxton from Raw. Do you remember who Byron is?
Yep.
He's gone to SmackDown, and David Otunga on SmackDown is on Raw.
Ah.
But for some reason, David Otunga is not going to be on Raw for the next couple weeks. I don't know if he's on vacation or something. So there's all this...
Maybe he's going to announcing school.
I don't know.
To learn how to announce.
I'm excited because they announced for tonight's Raw, there's going to be a special legend returning to take his place till he returns. So I'm kind of excited to see who that's going to be.
Who do you think it is? Come on.
It'd be awesome if it's JR. I mean, he came back for WrestleMania.
Who's the announcement team on Raw right now?
You have Michael Cole and Corey Graves.
Okay.
Which I can't stand either one.
No.
So, I mean, if JR came back, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if he's
It's going to be King.
I don't know. It probably is. I don't know if JR is back for good now or if he's going back to Japan to do that more. Because he does New Japan Wrestling, their announced team.
Right.
So, but getting to the talent, you had the Intercontinental Champion, Dean Ambrose, go to Raw, and the U.S. Champion from Raw, Kevin Owens, go to SmackDown. So they had to switch those up. Going to SmackDown, you have Charlotte is now on SmackDown. The New Day is on SmackDown. Rusev and Lana. Sami Zayn. The Shining Stars, Epico and Primo. Sin Cara. Jinder Mahal. And Tamina.
All going to SmackDown.
All going to SmackDown. It was great because when Shane was talking about the women that were coming over, he said... everyone thinks he's talking about Charlotte in the promo because he's like, she is a descendant. Her father was a great wrestler, blah, 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 blah. And Tamina comes out. Great thing. And he walks out of the ring and everyone's like booing him like, you're supposed to announce someone else. They all thought it was Charlotte.
Yeah.
Comes back in. Oh, you were expecting me to announce someone else, weren't you? Oh, and here's Charlotte. It was great.
The whole... a good mix-up would be is New Day going into SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
I'm glad they haven't split them up yet. I really enjoy New Day.
Don't split them up. They are money making now.
I hate the fact when people split up great tag teams or factions way too early. And New Day's been together for about 2 years now, maybe a little over 2 years, and I'm happy. I hate splitting up those things too early. I mentioned this in TNA, for instance, the Wolves. I hate the fact that they split the Wolves up.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous.
This tag team's been together for so long and is well known as the Wolves. I understand Davey Richards got hurt and Eddie Edwards went on and became world champion for a year. But when they come back, don't just, veer them off.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because now I think their careers are probably going to go.
No, I don't think they will split New Day up. Mm-hmm. It's a great tag team. It's a great faction. They really put a lot of eyes on the screen, you know? And I think they're going to boost up the ratings in SmackDown big time.
I could see them even taking all the titles.
The only thing I would like to see them do is push Xander a little more, you know?
Yeah. Which Shane likes to do that. He calls SmackDown the land of opportunity.
Yeah.
And when people come to SmackDown, the people you really never thought would get opportunities, get opportunities.
His name is Xander in
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Xavier.
So.
He was Xander in the other place.
I mean, Jinder Mahal went to SmackDown, and you even mentioned Jinder's been what you've seen. You're a
it
little
looks like
impressed.
he actually took care of himself.
So you never know. And he came in second in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Yeah.
So, moving on, going to Raw. So I told you Dean Ambrose is there. Miz and Maurice are on Raw now.
Okay.
So no John Cena did not go to Raw. So the whole Miz John Cena thing's over.
Good.
The Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt, is now on going from SmackDown to Raw.
Okay.
I'll tell you why this is a bad idea. Alexa Bliss is going to Raw. So, but Mickie James is going with her. So she's back on Raw. Apollo Crews will be on Raw.
Okay.
Kalisto will be going to Raw. I'll tell you why this is a good thing. A tag team, Heath Slater and Rhino to Raw. And nothing great to say about this guy, Kurt Hawkins, going to Raw. His first day out, he's complaining. He's saying how good he is and he can beat anyone in the back. Big Show comes out and just choke slams him a couple times.
And walks away.
So why Kalisto, do you know why Kalisto, you should know this, is a good thing going to Raw? I mention it all the time.
Because he is the next Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio is Raw.
Yeah. Well, he's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
Stupid having him on SmackDown with no cruiserweight title and no cruiserweight division. Thank God he's on Raw, and he is going to become one of the next cruiserweight champions. I can see it happening already.
Oh, yeah.
Bray Wyatt, horrible idea going to Raw. Eric Rowan, remember the guy who wears the sheep mask, just came back from injury. And they formed for a week or two the Wyatt family kind of thing again. And they're going after Randy Orton. Well, now they're split. It's like, why try to reform a faction and then literally split them up a week later?
It makes no sense. Its faction's dead. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Stop trying to rebuild it. Mm-hmm. It's not doing any good.
So, I mean, me personally, I'm not an Eric Rowan fan, but I don't think his career is going to go anywhere now without Bray Wyatt.
Probably not.
I just don't see it.
Unless they give him a whole new gimmick makeover.
Yeah. What else was there? With Kevin Owens going, this is the thing too. We have a pay-per-view coming up in another week or two called Payback. And it's a Raw one, I believe, but they're going to have a SmackDown title on the line, 2 SmackDown titles on the line on a Raw pay-per-view.
Okay.
So Kevin Owens is already supposed to defend the U.S. title against Chris Jericho. So what they said was the U.S. title is a SmackDown title already. So whoever wins it goes to SmackDown with the title. So Kevin Owens, if he loses, could end up going back to Raw. And Jericho going to SmackDown.
Ah.
And the World Heavyweight title will be on the line at Payback because Bray Wyatt gets his rematch. And they're calling it a House of Horrors match. No one knows what this is yet. I'm hoping it's a steel cage with a roof and weapons.
No, it is. It's what it's going to be. False count anywheres.
It's probably going to be like Abyss and his Monsters Ball match.
It's going to be something stupid like that.
I will say, though, Dean Ambrose, remember when he invented the Asylum match where all the weapons were hanging up on the top of the steel cage? That was awesome. I thought.
It was, but it's too much like a TNA match.
True. So I don't know if they're doing the same thing with the World Heavyweight title also, where the winner goes to SmackDown, the loser goes to Raw. They haven't mentioned that, so. I mean,
Randy is Raw right now, right?
Randy is SmackDown
Randy's
because he's
SmackDown.
the world champion.
Okay.
The problem with this is it's obvious who's going to win. Usually whenever they have this type of stipulation, whoever's the champion stays on that show with the title.
Mm-hmm.
So Randy's going to win and Kevin's going to win.
Okay.
I don't see anything changing. I mean, maybe Jericho wins and goes to SmackDown. I mean, maybe that's why they mentioned that's what's going to happen with the title. Who knows?
Right.
So, that is it, though, for WWE. There's a lot of shakeup, a lot of stuff going on. I know we have a lot to talk about in Wrestling Talk.
Let's keep it going.
Do you want to keep it going?
Let's keep it going.
We have TNA. We tried to talk about this, and we wanted to mention it again on this show because TNA, if you haven't been watching out there, TNA, which isn't TNA anymore, yet we still consider it TNA, it's just called Impact Wrestling. The thing that's great about it is everybody is changing Impact Wrestling back to the way it was, back in the glory days when Jeff Jarrett was running the place. You have new owners who own, I think it's called Anthem Sports or something like that. They're running it the correct way. They're bringing back some original people to help run it the original way. And it just seems like, I'm trying to put it into words, it seems like the wrestlers are trying to prove themselves.
Yeah.
Because the show was going downhill. There were all these talks about the company going bankrupt. It might not even be on TV anymore. Everything. So, one of the things is it's Bruce Pritchard. He has returned, and he's like kind of running the show. And he's he's old school TNA.
So now he's the new what? General manager?
Kinda.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not like you see him all the time. So, do you remember a faction by the name of LAX?
Yeah. They were one of the tag teams that got me hooked on TNA.
They're back.
Really? All of them?
Not all of them. Hernandez isn't there. So it used to be Conan, Homicide, and Hernandez.
Well, you need Hernandez. You get nothing.
So Homicide, the cruiserweight guy,
Yep.
he's back, and Conan's running it too.
Conan's funny, though, but...
They have this other tag team in the division, which are pretty good. They're pretty interesting. And they have a female, too, now, to go
Really?
after the knockout title. The tag team portion just won the tag team titles. So now Homicide, I think, needs to go after the X Division title like he usually does. And the female needs to go after...
Who's the female?
She's some new girl. I don't remember her name.
Right on.
But still, they're back. It's awesome. What was the other thing I had written here? Oh, that was just Conan and Homicide. The other thing is James Storm. I cannot wait for this. Finally gets a title shot for the world title.
So James Storm's back with Impact Wrestling?
Well, he has been back for a while. He formed this faction called the DCC. Really didn't go anywheres. And now he's kind of returning as the Cowboy, James Storm. I don't know if that was his idea to do the whole DCC thing, or if that was old TNA telling him to do this.
Right.
But whoever's idea it is for him to be the Cowboy, James Storm, that's what they need to do. He, to me, is known throughout the world as the Cowboy, James Storm.
Right.
Even in Beer Money, he was still the Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he's entertaining. That's what I want to see. It was great because a couple weeks ago, EC3 wants a title shot, James Storm wants a title shot, and they both agree, let the fans vote. Because EC3 thinks that the fans are all on his side. I mean, they do his song and all of that.
Right.
They're like, whoa. And it came back that the fans voted James Storm to be the next number one contender. So EC3's a little ticked off. Bruce Pritchard comes out, and EC3's demanding a recount. That's where he's pushing them to be heel again. And then the whole thing with him and Karen Jarrett that I was telling you about, where he says the Carters are better. Pritchard then goes ahead and says, I've seen nothing but complaining from you ever since you've taken a couple losses. And he goes, you took that loss against Alberto El Patron. And he's like, you didn't get pinned, remember, in that match. what happened? And everyone's like, you tapped out. You tapped out. And Preacher said, look, you gave up in that match. That's on no one but yourself.
Yep.
He goes, you need to go into the back, have a hard look in the mirror, and find the EC3 we all knew and who was great. He tells Preacher, that's exactly what I'm going to do, and walks off. So I don't know if they're going to turn him heel again, or if they're going to turn him into this really great face that he's been, but he's been on a spiral downhill lately. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. TNA is great because it's not predictable again. TNA used to be the show where I didn't know what was going to happen.
It used to be a really good show.
And that's what's going on. I can't predict what's going to happen in the show.
They just got to find a network that's more popular.
Needs to go back on Spike.
Yep.
So there's that. So James Storm gets his world title shot. I'm so hoping he beats Bobby Lashley. So hoping. I want James Storm to be champion again. We also saw a bunch of returnees I mentioned to you about in TNA.
Really?
So we had Team JB versus Team, what's his name? Josh Matthews.
Yep.
And so Josh Matthews had his TNA guys that are on the roster right now. JB takes Alberto El Patron, but then he brings back, because the rule states, you can bring back any former member of the roster too. Out comes Chris Adonis, a.k.a. we know him from WWE as Chris Masters. Looks great.
I remember seeing this clip on YouTube, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were a fan of Chris Masters.
Heck yeah, I was.
I mean, he still looks great. Next, one of my favorite TNA guys, the Blueprint Matt Morgan is back. And he didn't skip a beat. It finishes with somebody waiting in a limo, and all you see is him walk out, and then the music hits, and it's Magnus. So excited, because I was a Magnus fan.
Yeah.
And Magnus is actually wrestling right now also on the side like Cody Rhodes is in Global Force Wrestling, which is Jeff Jarrett's company, and he's the world champion right now in Global Force. So that's a kind of neat thing. They had their match last week. It was an 8-man tag match. Team JB won. So now Josh Matthews has to leave the announced team. So who knows what's going to go on.
That's insane.
With this, though, I really wanted to bring up before we move on the whole family thing. So Magnus and Mickie James were together. I think they got married or something. They have a kid. How's that work now with the two on different brands, different companies? I mean, to me, it's just, I don't know how you can do that. I mean, I don't know if they're split up now, too.
You know that WWE films live most of the time. What brand is Mickie James on now?
Raw.
She's on Raw. So she is entitled to do Raw live and 3 or 4 house shows a week.
Okay.
So that gives her, 3 days off?
Yeah.
For travel and something like that?
It's the...
TNA, they do not film live. They are behind like a week and a half, right?
Yeah, I know their next episode coming up this week will actually be a live taping.
Okay.
So.
And does TNA travel still?
Nope,
there
it's
again.
in the Impact Zone at Orlando.
So they're stationed again. So they're probably still together, and they probably have 3 days together.
Okay.
That's what I would assume would
Yeah.
be going on in their schedule.
Because this was something that got brought up, I remember, with the WWE draft. Husband and wives wrestlers really didn't want to be split because they might get to see each other maybe a couple times a year with the two brands going all over the place. And WWE did a great job saying, look, you guys are a couple or you're married, we're putting you on the same brand.
Yeah.
With the Superstar shakeup, the one that got split was Dean Ambrose and Renee Young, one of the announcers. And he's on Raw, she's on SmackDown now. And they actually apparently just got hitched that I saw on Twitter.
Well, she's not technically an announcer. She is an interviewer, right?
And she's on Talking Smack now, too, the talk show after SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, how often do you see her on SmackDown?
She's on every episode.
She's on every episode?
Yep. Because Talking Smack goes on right after the show at the arena.
Huh. That, I don't know.
Yeah, so. Anything you want to add before we move on? I know we took up a lot of time with Wrestling Talk with TNA. TNA was the big thing you really wanted to mention. Anything?
I don't think we get into it today.
Okay. Maybe we'll do more Wrestling Talk next week.
Maybe.
So. But a lot of stuff's happened.
Huge amount of
Wrestling has been amazing the last month, especially where it began with WrestleMania to where it is now. So, box office heroes, I think. Would you
I
like to
think
do?
so. Let's do box office heroes.
Okay, my number 3 was a toss-up between Going in Style, which I cannot wait to see, or The Boss Baby. I went with The Boss Baby.
Okay.
Number 2, I went with Smurfs, The Lost Village. And number 1 has to be this. It came out last weekend, The Fate of the Furious. Those are my 3.
Number 3,
Yes.
Beauty and the Beast.
Still, it's in there.
Still hanging on. 3 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Not very high numbers. Boss Baby number 2,
Really?
3.8. Beat Beauty and the Beast by 100,000.
Surprise.
And then Fate of the Furious,
Obvious.
21 million, but so far at the box office, over $100 million.
Can we rewind the tape? Because on our last episode, we took a wager on where overall the movie would be, and I said over 100 million.
Yeah.
I think I said 110, somewhere around there, and you were maybe in the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
I said
was-
over 100.
I was very shocked and I was happy with this.
I will have to go back and see
Yeah.
what my exact guess was.
But yeah, over 100 million in the box office so far.
My surprise is that Smurfs, The Lost Village, how big Smurfs 1 and 2 were, that didn't make it. And that's been out for a week or so now.
Yeah, I just don't think it's the right time for kid movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you opening up and you still have Fate of the Furious out, Boss Baby, and you have Beauty and the Beast still lingering at the movie theaters, it's just a bad time to put movies out.
Have you heard, because I've been hearing a lot about the Power Rangers movie just bombing.
Of course it was bombing. I told you it bombed when it came out.
I really was hoping to have a lot of hype for that.
The problem is that they take something great like the Power Rangers and they try to make it futuristic.
Yeah.
Why did I like the Power Rangers? Their outfits. It was spandex. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But now they put them in like these Transformers outfits. Like, what are you doing?
All CGI.
No, don't do that. Keep it basic. It was a basic show. It was a cut and dry superhero show. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to transform it into something that it's not. It's not that.
Yeah. Even my one thing I didn't like was Alpha, the way he looked in the new movie. It's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I even went back and, because I was binge watching on Netflix, and I watched, there's a season of Power Rangers. It's called Power Rangers Wild Force,
Yep.
where they do an episode. It's called the All Red episode, and they bring back like the last 12 Red Rangers, and they have to do battle, and it was great. They went all the way back to Jason as the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Every season
Yeah.
Ranger. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched it multiple times before, but I'm like, why not?
And the problem is that they try to take Power Rangers and make it something completely different. I mean, how did the Rangers become Rangers in the original show?
They're a super team of teenagers with attitude,
Yeah.
is what Zordon says.
Yeah. And now they're finding rocks in the earth that turn them into superpowered.
True.
No. Don't do that. If you want Power Rangers to succeed, then keep it basic like the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way to do it.
And I have to say, before we move on, I know she was my TV sweetheart growing up, maybe yours too, but
Pink Ranger?
Kimberly. Oh, wow. I think she was every boy's TV sweetheart growing up. Still looking good to this day, and I think she's nearly 50 years old.
Right?
So, okay, let's move on to Flareoverse.
Yes.
Because we did not get to do a Flareoverse last time.
And this was really short. Only one episode. It was just a season finale of Legends of Tomorrow.
Which I am actually behind in Legends of Tomorrow. The last 3 episodes I have not watched.
Ooh.
I've been so busy. I mean, I'm caught up on Flash and Supergirl. I'm 1 episode behind in Arrow, the disbanded episode.
Yep.
And then Legends of Tomorrow, those 3 with Captain Cold coming back. Those are the 3 I haven't watched.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with you mentioning, because we haven't talked about it the last 2
Well,
weeks.
you know me, I hate spoilers, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
Okay.
I'm just going to say the transaction they did between season 2 and the upcoming season 3, very well done.
Well, because I thought the whole transition from season 1 to 2, with the whole introduction to the Justice League of Society thing, was a nice touch. Also,
Yeah, they've done so far. This show has really just blown up my expectations of what they're gonna do.
Now, is it because of the Legion of Doom? Maybe would they having a big villain like that, or a collection of villains?
No, it was a storytelling for me that
Okay.
really did it. You know, they took this is how it should be done, and I don't want to mention this, but we're gonna mention it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than Netflix shows. I'm huge into Marvel movies. I'm not really into the Marvel TV shows on Netflix.
Okay.
They're too dark, they're too gritty, and their storytelling is not that good. I thought they really just... Season 1 of Daredevil was really good, was decent.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed Jessica Jones the most out of all of them. Season 2, they just killed it. They put too much in there. And the reason why I haven't finished Iron Fist yet is because they're just dragging everything along.
I know, I think you said you're on episode 7, so you have like 5 or so episodes to go.
Yeah.
It actually gets much better.
I finished
Towards the
episode 7 last night. You
Yeah.
know, it was a decent episode for what it's worth. It was decent.
Yeah.
You know?
The end is jaw dropper, I think, at the
But
end.
I can't seem to get dedicated to these shows.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Cage, I got really bored with it.
Same here. In the beginning, it was not until the end where I thought it started to pick up.
And there's a few episodes here and there that are really good, you know, but for the most part, I just couldn't be like, I'm intrigued with this character, you know? I just couldn't do it.
Well, I think we haven't mentioned, just so we mention a little bit of the Flareverse, we didn't get to mention some things that happened in Supergirl. We know the Daxamites came, and we know who played them, Terry Thatcher and Kevin Sorbo. But jaw dropper with Terry Hatcher's character stabbing Kevin Sorbo's character at the end.
No.
I'm like, so she's going to stick around. She's going to become a pretty big villain, I think.
For a few episodes, yeah.
Yeah, because we only went up to the musical episode, so we didn't get to talk about the bounty that got
Did
put
you
on Supergirl.
finish Supergirl yet?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I'm up to where she stabs Kevin Sorbo. That's how it ends.
Okay.
And now it doesn't come back till the end of April.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
But I thought that was a great episode, the last episode, with her putting out the bounty and everything, and you thinking Mon-El's going to be leaving.
Yeah.
And the big one for me was, so John disobeying the president and going and attacking the Daxamites. Come to find out, our president is an alien.
Yeah, it's a white Martian.
That was like, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was a nice touch. Flash, what happened in Flash? Abracadabra. That was the
Abracadabra.
episode. That was a great episode because you so badly want him to finally reveal who Savitar is. And I really thought we were going to get it. Mm-hmm. And you don't. You find out a little bit more about Gypsy's past. Gypsy and Vibe, not Callisto,
Cisco?
Cisco. Their relationship is out the water now. And the biggest thing is Caitlin becoming Killer Frost.
Yes.
I think this is official now. I don't think she's going to have this reverse back to Caitlin thing. I think this is finally official where we have Killer Frost on Earth 1. Mm-hmm. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
And what's up with HR?
Where'd he go?
Well, I'm not sure what's going on with the HR or what they're calling him now. But there was a scene where I think it was Wally and Cisco talking, and he was eavesdropping, and he had this like angry look on me, and the camera blacked
Yeah.
away.
Because he returns right before Caitlin becomes Killer Frost.
Yep.
He's like, I love lime jello. But I think we're going to find out
Lime Jell-O.
where he went. Because remember, when Cisco and Barry vibe to the future again, they see HR standing on the top of a building.
But which HR? That's the question.
Yeah. So maybe that's where something he did when he left, or what?
I don't know.
Flash is amazing.
This is a great show.
Arrow, like I said, I finally finished the end of the little bit of the episode that I had left where Prometheus captured him, and he disbands everybody. But
Yep.
we'll see what happens in Disbanded. I'm kind of excited to see where this is going with him and Prometheus. I mean,
It was a decent episode.
it's going to get better though when it finally comes back.
I think it's going to. There was a little too much whining for me in that episode.
Yeah.
But it was a good episode, nevertheless.
Now, you said Legends of Tomorrow was a season finale. Is this too soon for the show, or should they go like the others and go 20-something episodes?
No. Don't stretch it out if you don't have the storyline, why stretch it out?
Okay.
You just make the story like crap. They ended it at a perfect time. They finished the story. They finished everything they needed to. End it perfect. It was a great end.
Okay.
So I'm actually really excited about season 3 coming up.
Well, I know what I need to do before the next show. Or before the rest of the season comes up in the next week or two.
You definitely do.
So, that's it for me with Flareoversive, unless you want to add anything else.
No, man, we covered it.
I think it's main event time.
I think so.
Where's the fireworks and the lights dropping down that say main event somewheres?
So the main event, we have 2 trailers that came out. We had Thour Ragnarok, and we had the new Star Wars, The Last Jedi trailer that came out.
Yes.
I'm going to give you pick. Which one do you want to discuss first?
I'd love to discuss Thor first because sometimes we run out of time a little bit, and I think Thor's the bigger one.
Okay. So Thour Ragnarok, directed by Taika Waititi.
Mm-hmm.
I never really heard this guy too much. I haven't really seen too much of his work at all. I know he's an actor and a director.
Okay.
And he did star in the Green Lantern movie.
Oh.
That's all I remember seeing him in. So I don't really know much about the director at all.
Could be a good thing. A lot of people complain the Thor movies are probably their least favorite in the Marvel universe.
The first Thor was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The second Thor was, whatever. It was all right.
Mm-hmm. And for me, after watching this trailer, I am wicked excited for this movie.
I am too.
I'd like to mention, too, there is one Infinity Stone left, and it's got to come out pretty soon because Infinity Wars is next year. I think this is where the Soul Stone appears.
Yeah.
And I'll explain when we get...
Well, the Grand Master should have it, right?
I don't believe so. I believe the other villain in this movie, there's 2 villains, the Grand Master and Hela.
Well, Helena's not going to have it.
I think so, because she's the ruler of the underworld.
I don't think she's going to have it.
No?
I think she's too powerful on her own. She doesn't need a stone.
Because, I mean, she's the reason she brings destruction to Asgard. So I think the Grandmaster isn't really the main villain. I think Hela is. I think the Grandmaster is the middle of the movie villain kind of thing.
Think so?
Where Thor just needs to escape and get back to Asgard to defeat the main villain. But that's who I think has the Soul Stone. I don't think it's going to show up like some people think in Guardians of the Galaxy. Some people think Quill's father has it. But
that's not a bad guess.
So
it's not a bad guess.
So, but staying on topic, I just had to mention the last Infinity Stone has to appear somewhere. I don't think it's going to happen in Black Panther, for crying out loud.
No.
So, do you want to go on?
So Thor Ragnarok, pretty much what everybody thought was going to happen when we heard of this movie a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
It is happening, kind of. It is going to be kind of a Planet of the Hulk adaptation.
Yeah, it's like a mashup.
And I'm glad they're doing that, because if you ever seen it, unless you ever saw Planet of the Hulk.
I haven't, but I know of it.
It's a real good movie. You should check it out. It's really good. Seeing Hulk having his half armor on is real nice.
Mm-hmm.
What I love about the Thor movies that come out, every time you can always have some sort of meme. It's all over the place. So when Thor is in the arena and he sees Hulk coming, he's like, yes! Yes!
I have this in my
notes. I know him! He's a friend from work! And that meme just hit everywhere on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
And I mean, it's great because when he does that, starts laughing, the entire arena goes silent.
Yes.
Because they're expecting this massive duel, like these guys are fighting to the death.
Yep.
And when he just says that, he's a friend from work.
Yeah.
It's a jaw dropper.
Yeah.
And that's why I think with this new director, what I was saying earlier is why I think Thor Ragnarok will probably be one of the better Thor movies, is because I think he's taking it on a different path. Yes, there's all this mystic action and stuff, but throw a little comedy in there. All the other Marvel movies have it.
Yep.
And the Thor movies really didn't have that funny comedy. It was all just, here it is.
Yeah.
And you need that little mixture.
And here's what this one scene tells us. Hulk has been on the planet for a while now.
Yes.
That's what this tells us. Because the audience knows Hulk. Knows his work, knows and loves watching him fight. So we know that Hulk's been there for a very long time. So that story is going to happen. We're going to see what happens with the Hulk. Might be a small backstory.
That's what I'm hoping. I want to see a little backstory because all we see is him fly off on the Quinjet.
And I mean, we didn't see this in the show, but are we going to see Hulk go to Asgard to help out fight too?
You would think.
I mean, right now, just speculations. That's why I like this trailer so much. It tells you, cut and dry, movie start to finish, what it's kind of going to be about, but there's so many different webs that could spread out what actually is going to happen. Because we saw Loki, too.
Yeah. My big thing with the whole Loki thing is, because at the end of Doctor Strange, Thor comes and talks with him, saying how he needs his help looking for Loki.
Yeah.
But at the end of Thor, the Dark Side, Loki has now transformed into Odin, and we don't know what Loki has done with Odin. So what's going on? Is maybe Thor doesn't see Loki yet, but Loki transforms back to himself to fight in Asgard.
Yeah.
Without Thor being there.
Yeah, we don't know.
So.
And funny you mentioned Doctor Strange. It's rumored that he's supposed to be in Ragnarok too. So.
Well, it makes sense if Thor came to him prior to Ragnarok, which the Marvel movies all stand on a straight timeline.
Absolutely.
My big thing is, I think it was Hela. I know Hela's got her giant spikes, but the person who catches Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, and then breaks it.
Yeah, that's her.
Is that the end of Mjolnir?
It might be the end of it for right now, and maybe Thor might get his sword back. Because he used to battle with a sword.
Another thing is, and I hate people that complain about this, read the comics, it happens in there, Thor's haircut.
Oh.
So many people are irritated about the haircut.
Oh, man.
It happens.
So, if you guys don't watch cartoons like I do, Avengers, the animated movie, Thor had long hair. The second Avengers movie, Thor had short hair. It happens. It's not a big deal. Who cares?
Well, I think it's all these people that are like, oh my god, his golden locks. They're beautiful.
It's ridiculous.
Women are still going to fall over Chris Hemsworth's body. I don't think your wife is gonna say Thor's not her most favorite person anymore because he cut his hair.
She did like his long hair, though. But with that being said, it doesn't really matter. I think Thor needed a change anyways. I think this might be a good change to transition for the next of the movie.
Even the way when they take his armor off and he gets his new gladiator armor, it just looks different and he looks more interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I think it's a good touch.
yep.
What else in this trilogy you like?
I want to know where he is in the beginning when he's dangling from the chains. Is he in the other world with Hela? Kind of thing.
Could be.
And I want to know more background on Valkyrie. She's the one who captures Thor and brings him to the Grandmaster.
Yep.
I looked up a little bit of her. She is from Asgard.
Yep.
But
They
she
used to fight together, too.
Yeah, she is a hunter for Grandmaster. So I'm very interested on seeing more about Grandmaster. I'm hoping it's not a quick little glimpse into him and we never see him again.
Oh, I hope not. I saw the image and Jeff Goldblum nailed it.
Exactly.
Nailed it.
My hope is I want to see him show up in Infinity Wars and be on the side with Thanos a little bit. Like, ooh, okay, I think Grandmaster could take Thanos.
I think he's going to be neutral for the movie if he shows up.
Yeah?
Yeah. I don't think he's going to root
Because
for one
this
team
is the
or the
thing.
other.
We're supposed to have a part 1 and 2 of Infinity Wars, but they don't mention it anymore. Now it's just Infinity Wars, not part 1 and 2. But if there is 2 parts, I think he'd show up in the second part. And I just want to see him play Grandmaster more than just a little tidbit in the movie.
I mean, trailers are trailers. You don't really know what's going to happen in the movie. We can only guess, like we're doing right now.
Yes.
You can't determine a movie with this what the story is going to be, unless the trailer that they release is that crappy, like they did in the Power Rangers. It was a crappy trailer. I knew it was going to be a crappy movie. I knew it right off the bat.
It's not all the
Batman,
time.
Dawn of Justice. It was a crappy trailer. I knew it was going to be a crappy movie.
Okay. Man of Steel was not a crappy trailer, but it ended up being a semi-crappy movie.
Wasn't too impressed with the trailer either.
I was.
I really wasn't.
That's DC. Well, that's another story. The Thor. Anything else you'd like to add with Thor.
No.
Yeah, so I mean,
we pretty much broke it down what we think, what our opinions on what we think the movie's gonna be about.
Comes out November 3rd. We recommend you go there to watch it. Before we switch to the next one, there is one thing in the trailer I know you hate,
What?
and that was the music. You are a big stickler.
I was not going to bring it up. I wasn't going to bring it up. Why did you bring it up?
We brought it up when we went and saw Suicide Squad with all the music.
Because it was a musical.
You just hate background music in this. But if they didn't have it, it'd be a crappy trailer.
Well, here's the problem. The music they pick. AC/DC? Really?
That was perfect because it was like a setup for Hella's character. I thought that was a great touch for her character, just the way she looks and everything, the grin that she has.
They might as well just play Ozzy Osbourne's "Howl at the Moon."
Yes, but this was great, even when they hit the arena with AC/DC's music.
Yeah.
So I mean, I had to bring it up.
I know you did.
So.
I wasn't gonna touch it.
Moving on to the next trailer. A lot of kids, I showed them this trailer, were excited because they love Star Wars, but I don't think they've seen all the Star Wars movies. They've just seen the newer ones, but Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
Yes.
And some people are like, no, this is the 9th one. I had to explain to some kids. I go, no, Rogue One is 3.5 is what I call it. It happens between Episode 3 and Episode 4.
Yeah, it's a storyline between the middles.
It's as I was telling my my cousin and her husband, they asked, so where does it set up in the timeline? I go, it's a sequel to the prequel. That's what it is. It's a sequel to the prequel.
Pretty much.
So I love in layman's terms, like I told them, it's 3.5. It happens between the end of 3, but before the beginning of 4.
All right, so it's Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Yep.
Directed by Rian Johnson. How do you feel about that? Knowing that's not J.J. Abrams this time.
Does it make it? Do you think it's going to make that big of a difference?
I think a movie is good based on the director itself.
Yes, it is.
You know? I think it's
if you have the same a lot of same producers behind the scenes, we don't know. Is he going to be? Maybe J.J. Abrams is there doing something behind the scenes.
I'm sure J.J.
doesn't get
producing or something, but.
And to me, it's not just the directors, too. It's a lot of... I always praise certain actors and actresses in certain roles. And I think this cast that's been together for so long, I think they can almost direct themselves.
I mean, Rian Johnson, I actually have seen some of his work. So I think the movie might be kind of good. You ever seen the movie Looper?
Yes, I didn't like it.
That was a Rian Johnson movie.
Oof.
He directed that. Okay?
Okay.
So now, he's going to take that work over to Star Wars. Now, how do you feel?
Well, with Looper, I didn't like the storyline, but I'm hoping, being a Star Wars movie, it's going to have the same storyline kind of set.
Mm. So, but you did not like Looper.
No, I did not.
That was his work. He's going to take that work from Looper. He's going to bring it over to Star Wars.
Now you're making me just second guess myself.
But this is what my chair is broken.
So finally, you're shorter. You're shorter than I am now.
Sheesh, my chair even hates the movie. All right,
we don't have wardrobe malfunctions here. We have chair malfunctions.
But yeah, he's gonna take that work over to Star Wars, and that is how I look at movies. That's how I criticize movies. But I look into who's directing it, who's producing it, who's starring in it. It's not just visual effects. I don't see shiny objects. Ooh, this is gonna be great. Mm-hmm. You know, I gotta dig deep into it. I kind of enjoyed Looper. My only episode is that my only issue is that he did direct some episodes of Breaking Bad.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of that show, so I'm not really sure how it's gonna play out.
See, when you ask me how I think, just by the director, how I think the movie's gonna play out. The problem is, in my head, I already see how the movie's going to play out, how I feel like it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like this isn't going to be, oh my God, a great, amazing Star Wars. I feel like it's going to take a step back.
It could.
A step down.
It possibly
because
could.
I personally think it's going to be more, a lot of training and a lot of just talk and stuff. Because that's what's happening. Rey is now training with Luke. And I think half of it is going to be her training with Luke. Mm-hmm. And you got Kylo Ren, who doesn't have his, not the rebellion, but his group. I forgot what they're called.
Rebels?
Well, they're not the Rebels. It's not Rebels anymore. Oh. But I forgot what his group is. I think he's going to go back. He's going to get a lashing from what's his face, the giant smoke dude guy.
Snook?
Yeah, I guess.
Snook.
Whatever his name is.
Or real Star Wars fans, Jar Jar Binks.
I mean, I was
Jar
upset.
Jar Binks. Andy,
I was
indeed.
upset with The Force Awakens when they killed Han.
Okay.
Because what's that mean for my favorite character, Chewie? What's going to happen with Chewie now? So
Well, you know, I heard a rumor. Han's not dead.
Well, we know Princess Leia is going to somehow die at the end of this one.
I mean, if you think,
Carrie Fisher, rest in peace.
I mean, I've heard that he is not dead.
Yeah, but if he's not, can you see Harrison Ford doing any more of these movies? He gets hurt every time he makes a movie. I'm sorry, Harrison. I know you're watching, but
Indiana Jones 5's coming out.
Stay out of the airplanes.
He likes to fly.
And he crashes every time he flies.
That's because he's taking off in Burlington International Airport.
Thank God he's not flying with United. We don't just talk about nerdy stuff here. We like
You know things.
We
Harrison
do-
Ford is a Vermont resident. He's probably taking off in a Vermont airport. I don't blame him.
I have to mention at the end of the year when we do our good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
That's going to be on the ugly part. Staying on track. What did you see out of this trailer?
Not much, man. I was not impressed with this at all.
This is why I turned my phone off.
I know. I'm trying to do some research over here. It was a 2-minute trailer that I saw. And it showed me nothing.
So I saw some.
I really wasn't like so excited about this movie coming out. You know?
Is there a reason you're not excited? That was my reason. I don't think it's going to be the hype.
Yeah.
Like when The Force Awakens came out, we had a long stretch from Star Wars movies, and it had big hype, and it was a big movie.
And now they're fighting off Star Wars movies every 6 months.
Exactly. But with like I said, my concern is I don't think it's going to stand up to the hype as The Force Awakens. There's going to be a lot of in-between things that happen.
Yeah, the in-betweener is what we call it. And yeah. It may be a dull movie. It may be a dull movie. We may depend on Finn to save the movie.
Which, like I said, I got to rewatch the movie because in the trailer you see Finn in his stormtrooper outfit because you see him in a white getup, and he's flying something, but he's sleeping. So he's like in a hibernation state. And I remember at the end of the movie, I think he got knocked out, and that's when you had Kylo Ren and Rey's epic battle at the end of the movie, which was amazing. And I don't remember what happened to Finn.
Right.
I have to go back and watch this movie. After this trailer came out, it's now clicking on the back of my mind. Okay, what happened? I gotta find out.
Yeah, we gotta think that this movie's gonna be a lot like the Episode 5. You know, where Luke is training with Yoda, and then you have Han Solo carrying most of the movie along. You know.
Yeah, and you have
it's gonna be a Finn carrying.
You have the whole thing. Luke finds out Darth's his father. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen. Rey's gonna find out probably. I guarantee at the end that Luke's her father.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Things that stood out to me though in this trailer. I know you said you didn't really see much and you didn't care for it. I mentioned before when we were watching a little bit of it. Rey learning how to use the Force, and you see her hand like on the ground, and the little pebbles starting to float up.
Yep.
I'd like that touch because she used it maybe once or twice in The Force Awakens, and now she's starting to learn how to use it, and I like that. Mm-hmm. She's learning how to harness the Force. I love the scenes with the whole lightsabers going back and forth, the training with the lightsabers. That's always been a fan favorite.
So that was that trailer you saw that I didn't really see much of.
Well, no, I saw there was a part in the trailer we both saw where she's standing on a ledge, just practicing the swings of the lightsaber. I've always just been a fan favorite of the lightsaber scenes, no matter whether you're training or you're fighting.
Oh yeah.
And I think in the trailer we both saw, we also saw Kylo Ren and his bladed. He didn't have the bladed the sword lightsaber, you know, the crisscross. I don't think he had. I think the only one who's had that is the first Darth in Episode 1. That one.
Darth Maul?
Yeah.
No, he didn't have that.
I thought he had.
Maul had the double bow.
Oh, okay, so it is Kylo Ren that's only had the sword.
Yep.
Okay, and I think we just see him with the sword like in his face. So there is a lot to answer. Granted, these are only for Thor and Star Wars. These are only the first trailers. We're gonna see 2, 3, maybe 4 more trailers for each one of these
Right.
as the summer comes on.
Yeah.
These are, I still consider trailer 1s as teaser trailers.
Well, they are teaser trailers. That's
So.
all they are.
But so we definitely have to see a little bit more down the line. But out of the 2, Thor Ragnarok definitely is my favorite to see.
Yeah.
Star Wars, I forgot to mention too. It comes out December 15th for you people that are excited to see it. Don't believe the trailer when it says comes out Christmas. No, it comes out 10 days before Christmas.
10 days before
I
Christmas.
hate it when movies come out on holidays.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It really is.
So, anything you'd like to add? I know we're running out of time here.
No, I mean, I'm more of a Star Trek fan more than a Star Wars fan, so
Yep.
that's why I don't never get too excited of Star Wars movies coming out.
I'm trying to think. We're on this talk about trailers. If there's any trailer coming up that you're excited to see,
I've not been keeping track of trailers lately.
or
I don't really know.
it's mostly movies, I guess. And the reason I mention this is because the release of the first looks at Avengers: Infinity Wars came out,
Really?
and it's like a 10-second clip, and then they show you the behind the scenes things that are going on. Like they have Chris Pratt, Robert Downey Jr. and I forget the kid's name, but Holland, who plays
Tom Holland?
Yeah, who plays Spider-Man, and they're all together talking about Infinity Wars, and it's just amazing watching the whole setup for
Right.
it, and it makes me, yes, it's a year and a half or so away, but I'm just so ramped up over this movie.
It's gonna be a good movie.
So,
I can't wait for Spider-Man to come out too. Homecoming.
yeah.
Homecoming would be good.
One other thing I saw, I'd like to mention, get your thoughts on, is the rumor about the guy who plays Thanos. I forget his name,
Tom Brolin.
but being
Josh
cast for Deadpool as Cable.
Yes, I heard about that.
A lot of people aren't happy. They're like, "What's going on here, Marvel? You're kind of dropping the ball here." I understand if
Well, they're not really dropping the ball at all.
Fox, I think, owns the rights to Deadpool, but
Yeah. It was already stated in the first Deadpool movie that Deadpool and the Avengers would never come into one universe.
yeah,
You know? So it's okay for Josh Brolin to. Josh Brolin has been playing superheroes for a long time.
yep,
You know? This isn't his first rodeo. He played Jonah Hex, too, back in the day.
yeah.
You know, so he probably enjoys these movies. He's going to continue doing them. And he's a great actor anyway. Let him keep going.
This is where I hate it, though, because I like the fact where you have certain people who are the iconic person to play certain characters, and then they play different characters.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing with Justice League where we want to see the CW DC guys play the Justice League in the movie.
Yeah, that's what you want.
It's just weird seeing 2 different Barry Allens, 2 different Oliver Queens, or vice versa.
Yeah.
So when you have someone as big as Thanos coming out in 2018, and then Deadpool coming out, 2019, and Cable showing up,
You're not going to notice that because Thanos is purple.
I understand. But do you see my whole thing with it?
Yeah.
You kind of like your people being that one character.
Right.
You complain sometimes seeing Chris Evans as Johnny Storm and Captain America. Though he plays a much better Captain America.
He definitely does.
So
But he played a better Johnny Storm than the new Fantastic Four.
I'm hearing that they might restart that back up because
I've been hearing that
a lot of
too.
fans are saying they want to see the sequel to it, but that's for another day.
What fans?
That's for another day.
What fans?
Unfortunately, we're out of time.
The guy keeps coming out here and bothering us.
Fortunately, we're out of time. Thanks for joining us on this episode. Don't forget, you can watch this episode and every other episode on our Facebook and YouTube pages at Legends and Nerds. So subscribe on YouTube, follow and like on Facebook. Don't forget, you can follow this man over here
Twitter.
on the Twitter at KrillinMan. Our next episode, we might be doing the Defenders setup if you can hurry up and finish watching
Maybe
Iron
we'll
Fist.
see.
So we're hoping to do that, but in a couple weeks we might have our summer movies coming out that we're going to talk about.
Right.
Can't wait to see that. As always, thank you for watching and stay nerdy.
Put the first survey up on Twitter today. Should we go live on Periscope or